Stuart, this is Brad.
Yes, Brian.
Uh, what is the nature and experience of Shakti in this meditation?
Everything that took place in the last 45 minutes. Transmission of energy. The teacher becomes a vehicle through which spiritual energy flows. That energy goes into the student depending upon how open their chakra system is, and that's Shakti. It's nourishment. Nourishment. And the intensity of the energy of this class is the energy of Shakti. And my job really is to just transmit it, to be a channel through which it flows. And hopefully, all of you are working to develop chakra systems that allow the energy to enter them and help build a strong inner life. That's what Shakti is. It's energy. Everything gives off Shakti. Even negative energy is energy. And if you have a system inside that's strong enough, you can transform negative energy into positive energy, into energy that really helps you have a spiritual life. So what I do here is just transmit that energy. And I'm just hoping that people have learned the exercise, using the exercise to develop inside themselves the ability to absorb and be nurtured by that energy. And it's not me that's doing it. You understand? My responsibility is to just open deep enough to where that energy just flows through me. It uses me to help, you know, continue, spiritual practice in the world.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have a question?
Stuart, it's Craig.
Yes, Craig?
Do you feel the energy flowing through you when you transmit it?
Of
I was just
course.
curious.
Of course. Of course. It almost puts you into some kind of trance-like state. It is a trance-like state. And then that energy flows. My job is to make sure that my chakra system is open. I'm centered. I'm not spending this 45 minutes daydreaming and thinking, and I'm allowing that flow of energy to come through me. And then it completes the cycle inside myself. And then there's this enormous overflow of energy. And that's the energy that we feel in this class. It's that overflow. But that overflow doesn't happen if that complete cycle isn't made inside the person teaching. And boy, do you feel it. It's incredible. The best feeling I've had in my life is doing this meditation. Well, yeah, it's up there on the highest levels of doing this meditation. And that energy flow from chakra to chakra and being able to transmit it to people who are open. Does anyone else have a question? That's my job. That's why I have these classes. Look, I say it all the time. My job is to give everything I've learned in my life away. And, the transmission of Shakti, the transmission of energy, that kind of energy, is the gift to people that come that want to have a spiritual life. And my job is to give it away, everything I've learned. And I've learned through Rudy and through the training he gave me that sitting in a class like this and opening and allowing that energy to flow is probably one of the most profound ways of giving it away. And interestingly enough, it's done in silence. I mean, yeah, I talk, I answer questions, but most of the meditation class is the transmission of Shakti in silence. And I think that's wonderful. I mean, I couldn't think of a better way of doing it. Doesn't attract masses of people, but who wants masses of people? I can't train masses of people. I can't give away this energy to 10,000 people sitting. Who can do it? I mean, everybody would be this big on the screen. Does anyone else have a question?
Stuart, it's Brad again.
Yes,
As
Brad.
a follow-up, are there any sensations that are common with this Shakti?
Well, when you open your heart, that in itself becomes a sensation that is very, very nurturing. And when the energy goes into your heart and expands the heart, and the love becomes unconditional, my God, there's no greater sensation in the world. To love other people unconditionally, to love God unconditionally, to love yourself unconditionally. And I don't mean in an egocentric way. I mean through a state of surrender and opening and offering gratitude to a higher force in the universe. What greater sensation can there be? A quiet mind, although that doesn't seem to have sensation, it's sensational. A quiet mind. And a rare gift, a rare gift.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's been a very difficult day today. I mean, I tell you honestly, I got up this morning and the first two text messages I got this morning were, I don't know, I had a student years ago who I was very close to, and she was a very good friend of mine, and I used to visit her in Brazil all the time, and she passed away this morning.
Mm.
And I said, God bless her, and I hope. And I kept getting, I had to send condolences to her daughter and family. And it's been a very interesting year with people, and kinds of things that have been going on in the world. Very strange and interesting. And 5 minutes after that, literally with that, I got another text that two students of mine who live in Israel, their son was in the army, and his car that he was driving in was blown apart by a Hezbollah. You know, and you read about this in the newspaper, but then when it's somebody that thank God the young man lived. Thank God he's okay. He's out of the hospital now. But it was just shocking, because you read about these things, 15,000 people killed, 1,200 people killed, and then when it's somebody family that I'm very, very close to, There's some way to get up this morning, along with the sky, the darkness and the clouds and the rain and it was quite a day today. But thank God the young man lived, and all his fellow soldiers, those 8 soldiers there, they all survived this attack. Thank God. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Bob, you probably remember Inez. She passed on this morning. She was a dear person. She was such a good friend of mine. Every time I was in Brazil, we would go out for lunch, and very dear person. I was very close back in the 80s with the entire family. My God, the mother, the father, the whole family. I was very close with. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? It's so funny about, maybe 6 months ago, I went to see an acupuncturist who's an old friend of mine in New York. And we opened the door, and this not a young guy, this guy gets up and throws his arms around my neck and says, Stuart, I had no idea who he was. Stuart, how are you? How are you, Stuart? Oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long. So I said, Stuart, it's Alfredo. And Alfredo was Inez's son. And I hadn't seen him since, I would say, God knows, at least 25 years. And he was a young guy, and now he's not an old young guy anymore. And I think, have somebody just jump up and throw his arms around your neck. Oh my God, you don't know how much love our family has for you. Stuart, oh my God, it's a miracle to meet you here. It's Alfredo. Then I knew who it was. As soon as he said Alfredo, I knew who it was. But before that, I had no idea who it was. Anyway, it's part of my past. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? And that's the second person this year who used to be a student of mine that I was very close with and who passed on. Mm-hmm. That's why I always say, don't take your time for granted. Don't be conscious about how you use the time in your life to develop a spiritual life. Because one day, bing, it's all gone. And if you take your time for granted and you constantly are procrastinating and putting it off, I got this, I got that, I got the other, I got that, that's all bullshit. It all leads to the grave. One has to do what really helps them get to God. And to remind themselves all the time, because we are masters at forgetting. We are masters at forgetting. And we are masters at thinking that time exists for us forever. And it doesn't. It doesn't. So we need to use this precious gift that we're given called life to develop inside ourselves a connection with God. The soul comes here to learn how to do this. And finally, when the soul actually learns that commitment and does it, they finish with karma. And move on to the next incarnation, whatever it is, the next state of consciousness. But they're finished with all this wars and religious wars and prejudice and racial shit and all this crap that goes on in the world that has absolutely no meaning other than takes everybody to the grave. Okay, if there are no more questions, there'll be class tomorrow evening, and God bless you all. Thank you. And I'm here, learning, growing. And as I say all the time, you all are my teacher. You all, by being here, make me come here. If you weren't here, I wouldn't be here. So God bless you. And every one of these classes is like a miracle of inner work and growth. So bless you, bless Zoom, bless technology, bless the world, And there'll be class tomorrow evening, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome.